It's 125 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about contact lenses because being a contact lens wearer at Burning Man is a pain. Imagine rubbing your hands in a sandpit, dropping your contact lenses in there, then trying to put them in your eyes after like an hour's sleep. And that's kind of what contact lenses at Burning Man can feel like. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be that bad. Daily lenses are the number one option because you don't need to worry about trying to clean all the dust off of them that's built up over the day. At the end of the day, you can just whip them out and stick them in a Ziploc bag or in your camp rubbish, whatever you're doing with all of your rubbish type items. And that's it. The next day you can pop in a nice, fresh, clean pair. Dailies also tend to be a bit thinner than other types of lenses, so they're not quite as irritating to your eyes, especially if you're not used to wearing contact lenses for long periods of time. In a lot of places, it's not very hard to get hold of dailies. All you need is a recent prescription, and obviously if you don't have a recent prescription, you can go to the opticians and get one, because you don't want blurry eyesight at Burning Man. You want to be able to see that man from far away, or the blue porta potty lights. You will probably want to bring extra, for a normal trip, you'd probably bring a pair for every day and maybe one set spare. But at Burning Man, your eyes can get quite irritated from the dust, so you might find that you're actually changing your contact lenses a bit more often or taking them out to give your eyes a break. And if your eyes are irritated, it's probably best to put in a fresh pair rather than the pair that's already covered in dust and looking a bit gross. Lenses that last a bit longer, like monthlies or fortnightlies, they're not ideal because, you are going to have to worry about cleaning them up and putting them back in your eyes. And your cleaning ritual is going to be a little bit more intense than the one that you would have at home where you actually have things like a sink to wash your hands in and, basic hygiene type stuff. But it is possible as long as you're staying on top of that cleaning routine, so you're cleaning them every time you take them out, storing them in fresh solution, and then cleaning them again before you put them back in. But you might still want to bring some extra because sometimes it's just going to be impossible to get them clean. They're just still going to feel gritty when you put them in, and if that's the case, you probably will want a spare pair to put in. And there's always the risk that you will just lose one. If you don't wear contact lenses very frequently, or you don't wear them for extended periods of time and you're planning to wear them kind of all day, every day at Burning Man, then you might want to get a bit of practice in beforehand. Going from wearing them occasionally or just for a few hours a day to suddenly wearing them all day long for really long days, it can make your eyes get really irritated because they're not used to wearing them for that length of time. Make sure you check what the maximum wear time for the brand of lenses you have is, because you don't want to be going over that. And if you know beforehand and the wear time doesn't sound like it's long enough for you, then you might be able to find some different lenses to pick up that have a longer wear time, because you really don't want to be going over that maximum wear time, or you might start having eye problems. They might get very irritated and just painful and angry with you. If you do think that you're going to be going over that wear time, then try and have a break in the middle of the day of a few hours where you're not wearing them so that your eyes can kind of just relax a bit. And hopefully that will help them not get too irritated. I'm sure that any of you contact lens wearers, you know how to clean your own lenses, so I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to talk about your hands instead, because hands are really the problem. Like, the cleaning routine for the lenses is fine, it's the fact that you're often doing it with less than ideally clean hands. So to clean my hands before I start messing with my lenses, I have a spritzer bottle that's full of water and vinegar, like a very weak solution. You could use lemon and water as well. And I just spritz that all over my hands, and then I use baby wipes to just get the dust off. The vinegar and water, or lemon and water, that's just going to cut through all the dust to make it really easy to get off. If you do have a lot of dust, then you could spray a baby wipe with that solution as well to just help it along. Then once all the dust is off, I use a hand sanitizer to try and sanitize my hands a bit. And then I'll take some contact lens solution and pop that on my hands and just kind of rub it around just to make sure there's no residue left over from the baby wipes or hand sanitizer or vinegar or whatever. And then I give my hands a little check over just to make sure that they're looking good, there's no dust, I didn't miss any spots. And obviously if they don't look good, then repeat the process. And obviously you want to do that somewhere kind of enclosed. You don't want to just be sitting out on the player where there's all that dust swirling around, just sticking straight back to your hands and to your lenses. So, do it inside your tent or RV or whatever you're coming in, somewhere enclosed. Bring along some eye drops because they are great for when your eyes are just feeling a bit itchy or they just need refreshing a bit. You can just pop in a couple of eye drops and you're usually good to go. Make sure you get contact lens safe ones because not all eye drops were created equal, and if you get non-contact lens safe ones, they could have the opposite effect. They could actually make your eyes get more irritated because they're not supposed to be used with lenses. Make sure you're giving your eyes a break as well. You don't want to be sticking your contact lenses in the second you wake up and leaving them in until you fall asleep that night. Your eyes will need some kind of break. So, a couple of hours in the morning while you're getting ready or having coffee or something, or maybe, if you're hanging out at camp in the middle of the day, maybe pop them out, stick on your glasses instead, just to give your eyes some time to relax. I know I already mentioned bringing extra lenses, but you probably want to bring along an extra case and some extra solution as well, because it would suck to lose your lens case, and they're really small as well. It's not that hard to misplace your lens case in your camp. And without solution, you're not going to be able to clean your lenses, which is obviously a huge problem. So either, have something, a particular place where this is where this stuff goes 100% of the time, and it's always going to be there when I go to get them, or just make sure you have some extras just in case. It's a good idea to carry a lens case in your day pack and your spare glasses, just in case something does happen and you need to get those lenses out. If you get stuck in a dust storm and you just get a ton of dust in your eyes, you're probably going to want to get those lenses out ASAP. And, if you have really bad eyesight, taking your lenses out in the middle of nowhere could be a huge problem because you are so visually impaired, you are not going to be able to make it back to camp. You are going to be at risk of, getting hit by bicyclists or art cars while you're just kind of stumbling around blindly. So, be prepared, especially if you have very bad eyesight. My eyes are -7 and I cannot imagine being stuck out on the playa without lenses or glasses and attempting to make it back to my camp. It would be a serious adventure and not one of those good adventures. Some of you might want to get a little funky with some coloured lenses, and if you are not a usual contact lens wearer, if you don't need lenses, you just want coloured ones. If you've never worn them before, then you definitely want to get some practice in. Contact lenses are not that easy to get in and out when you have never done it before. And they can be very irritating to your eyes because your eyes aren't used to having something in them. And coloured lenses tend to be a bit thicker than regular lenses. So even for regular lens wearers, sometimes when you put them in, they're going to be very itchy and irritating for you. And with some coloured lenses, the maximum wear time is a lot lower than on regular lenses. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Don't overwear them. If you are only going to be wearing those lenses for Burning Man, I would suggest getting some with a low usage time, a month or something, like 30-day wear. Because they're generally a bit thinner, they're generally a bit less irritating, and they're generally cheaper. I kind of think, any contact lenses that come into Burning Man, as soon as I'm back to the real world, I'm going to be putting in a fresh pair. I'm not going to be putting in that pair that spent like a week just getting blasted with dust. Whatever you do, do not fall asleep in your lenses. It is so bad for your eyes. Your eyes are going to feel terrible the next day. When you wake up, your contact lenses are probably going to be really dried out. They'll be hard to get out. So pop some eye drops in, let the contact lenses absorb that moisture, and then try and get them out when they're not so dry, because it's not good for you to try and rip out a dry contact lens. You might do some damage. But yeah, just don't do it, because if you do, your eyes are going to feel bad the next day, and no one wants that. So that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful. If any of the rest of you have any tips or suggestions about how to, wear contact lenses at Burning Man without feeling like you've sandpapered your eyeballs, then let me know in the comment section below. And if any of you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.